FDA recently published a draft guidance to fresh produce growers and others to help inform them of how they are currently interpreting the produce safety rule. This is a draft guidance, and they are looking to industry to provide comments. The key to making informed comments is understanding what's in the draft guidance and how it differs from what has been published before. This video is the fifth in a series to attempt to shed light on these differences, and will only cover Chapter 5. Chapter 5 covers Subpart I, Domesticated and Wild Animals. Stated here on page 74, the Produce Safety Rule does not authorize the taking of threatened or endangered species, nor does it require you to exclude animals from covered farms. FDA supports the long-standing co-location of animals in plant food production systems in agriculture and provides alternative ways to protect covered produce from contamination by animals. Section 1, beginning on page 75, helps you to determine whether there is a reasonable probability that animals will contaminate your produce. You should first identify outdoor areas and partially enclosed buildings where covered activities take place, as contamination by animals is more likely to occur here than in fully enclosed buildings. The guidance then suggests evaluating the types of animals that could contaminate your produce based on historical observations and the presence of animal attractants or habitats. Animal attractants could include water and food sources, discarded produce, brush or waste piles, wooded areas, and potential nesting areas. Other things to consider during your evaluation are the seasonal presence of animals, such as migrating geese, topography, and existing structures such as ditches or mounds that may affect the presence of animals or animal waste. On page 76, the guidance suggests to periodically re-evaluate your farm's conditions. Changes such as construction or cultivation, or weather events such as heavy rains or droughts, could alter animal presence. Section 2 on page 77 covers how to assess areas for evidence of contamination. After your evaluation, if you believe there is a possibility that animals will contaminate your covered produce, you must assess the relevant areas for evidence of potential contamination as needed during the growing season. Factors you should consider while developing your approach to assessment include the types of animals that may contaminate your produce, the expected number of animals, the expected frequency of animal activity, whether it's monthly or weekly, the likely location of animal activity, for example, nearby attractants or habitats, and the expected time of day of animal activity. Examples given in the guidance take these factors, as well as the life cycle of the crop, into account. On page 78, the guidance provides examples of farm assessments. In example 5D, a farm's outdoor kale growing areas are near a pond that serves as a water source for deer and ducks. Ducks and their excreta are observed 1 to 2 times per month during the growing season. In this case, the farm must assess these areas for potential contamination at least monthly during the growing season. As stated on page 79, animal activity to look for includes animal excreta, nests, and signs of pecking, feeding, trampling, grazing, or bedding. For example, the person assigned to monitor the area could look for bird nesting in rafters or on the roof. Section 3, at the bottom of page 79, says that if there is significant evidence of potential contamination, you must evaluate whether the covered produce can be harvested in accordance with the Produce Safety Rule requirements. You must also take measures during growing to assist you later on in identifying the contaminated produce that must not be harvested. An example they give on page 80 is designating a specific distance around the potential contamination and preventing harvest in that area, also known as a no-harvest zone. On page 80 and 81, the draft guidance provides examples of observations that likely are or likely are not significant evidence of contamination, along with the subsequent actions that should be taken. Example 5F describes a worker that observes crop consumption and bite marks on a field of lettuce, as well as extensive goose excreta from a flock of migrating geese. Here, the farm determines that this is significant evidence of potential contamination. They decide to mark the affected fields with red flags and communicate with the harvest crew that the affected lettuce fields will not be harvested. In example 5J, a worker reports that they saw several piles of dog excreta in a small area of a blueberry field. The excreta did not directly contact the blueberries and was removed from the area immediately. Following this report, a careful assessment of the entire blueberry field was conducted, and no other observations of excreta or potential contamination was found. In this case, there is likely not significant evidence of potential contamination, and no further actions are necessary. When making comments on the draft guidance, keep several things in mind. Reference the section of the rule you have a particular issue with. Be specific about the issue you are presenting. Avoid ranting. Offer alternatives to interpretation. Remember that the law is not changing or going away. This represents how the government interprets the law. The draft guidance covers all aspects of the produce safety rule except Section E, agricultural water. Public comment on this draft guidance is being accepted until April 22, 2019. Michigan State University Extension encourages looking into this guidance and commenting before the deadline.